I purchased the TireGard from BikerHighway.com because they have the best selection and prices for motorcycle products. The correct tire pressure is critical for the safe handling of a motorcycle, and this product will alert you when there's a leak. The TireGard comes with a receiver, batteries for the receiver, 2 batteries, one for each tire pressure sensor, and the tire pressure sensors themselves labeled number 1 and number 2. One is for the front tire. It's very important before installation to check that there is plenty of clearance between the tire sensor and any part of the bike around each wheel, like the brake discs or any structural part. First we check the front wheel, and the sensor is small enough that it looks like it's going to clear all the parts of the front wheel. Now we're checking the rear wheel, and it looks like it will fit fine. We make sure if we need to move the tire stem to another part of the bike that all parts of the wheel with the sensor on it clear the structural parts of the motorcycle. Now we're going to install the battery and the receiver. We open the battery compartment, and there's a diagram in there that tells you where the positive and the negative part of the battery is, and that gets inserted, and the cover gets slid right back into place until it snaps closed. There's a display on there that initially will show zeros because we haven't yet installed any of the sensors, and there's also a protective cover. Now we're going to install the battery. On each of the sensors, you unscrew the cover of the sensor and slip the battery with a positive facing the cap end and screw the cap back on. And we'll do that to both sensors. This is the number 2 sensor. Unscrew the cover, put the battery in with the positive side up, and close the cover. Now we can see that the receiver is showing low pressure for each tire because we haven't yet installed them onto the tire. We can turn the unit off and on with a little button up at the top. Now we're going to install the sensors on each of the valve stems. Unscrew the cover. This will replace any cover that you have on the valve stems. And first we're going to put in the anti-theft ring. There's a set screw that we use an enclosed Allen wrench to loosen it so that it will fit over the stem with the notches facing the open side of the tire valve, and then screw the sensor right onto the tire valve. Make sure that it's snug but not over tight, and move the rings up so that the notches connect with the sensor, and use the Allen wrench to tighten the screws, to tighten the screw onto the valve stem. This prevents the sensor from being unscrewed. Once you do that, you'll notice that there's a tire pressure reading on the receiver. Now we're going to install the rear unit, which has got a number 2 on it. Same way as we did the front. Your receiver will read 0 until you install it. We're putting the anti-theft ring on the valve stem. You may have to loosen it a little bit so that it will fit. And again, we want the notches to face the tip of the valve stem. We turn the sensor clockwise until it's snug. Move the anti-theft ring so that the notches connect with it, and now we've got a pressure reading for the rear tire. Again, we use the Allen wrench to tighten the set screw to prevent the sensor from being unscrewed. It's important that you don't over tighten the ring or the sensor, but check it. Notice the pressure readings on the receiver. Next step after installing the sensors on the wheels is to put the set points for temperature and pressure. This will determine when the alarm goes off. First, we turn on the unit by pressing the power button. Then we press the set button for 3 seconds. And the first setting is the units of measurement for pressure. The choices are pounds per square inch, PSI, kPa, and bar. The display will show which unit of measurement it's on, and by using the star, it changes from kPa to bar back to PSI. So we're going to set it for PSI. Then we'll press the set button again to set the temperature as either Fahrenheit or centigrade, and we can scroll through by pressing the star or the thermometer. We're going to set it for Fahrenheit. We press set again, and this sets the low pressure limit. Since the pressure for this particular motorcycle is set for 29 for the front wheel, 29 psi, I'm going to set it for 2 pounds below that for when the alarm goes off, the low pressure alarm, and that can be done by pressing either of these two to go up or down. So this will be set for 27. Then, since the pressure is 29, I want to set it for 2 pounds above, and I'll scroll this up or down until it reaches 32, and then press set again. The next is the temperature, and I'm going to set it for road temperature, or rather a tire temperature based on the ambient conditions of the maximum normal temperature of my tires is about 100 to 110 degrees, so I'm going to set it to 135 by scrolling this to 135 appears, and then press set. And now we do the same thing for the rear tire. The rear tire is set for 32, so the low pressure will be set a couple pounds below that to 30 by pressing either of these two. Press set, and now the high pressure will be 2 pounds above. My normal tire pressure is 32, so we'll set it for 34 and press set again. And the high temperature will be the same for the rear tire as for the front tire. We press set again, and now all the set points are set, the minimum and maximum and temperature and pressure for each tire. That'll determine when the alarm goes off, either if the pressure is too high, or the pressure is too low, or the temperature is too high.